Most people go through life believing in an illusion, the illusion that they are separate from God, that divine power is something external, distant, and only accessible through intermediaries. But what if I told you that everything you've been taught about the nature of God, reality, and your own existence has been carefully manipulated to keep you disconnected from your true power? Think about it. Why do governments, religious institutions, and media systems constantly feed fear, division, and dependence? Because a person who understands their true nature, who realizes that they are not just a body, but an energetic being, connected to the very source of creation, is impossible to control. The truth is, God is not a figure in the sky, not a being judging your every move, but a frequency, an energy that permeates all things, including you. And once you learn to align with it, your reality begins to shift in ways you never imagined. This video, I'm going to expose the hidden knowledge that has been suppressed for centuries. You'll understand why consciousness slavery is real, how external forces manipulate your vibrational state to keep you powerless, and most importantly, how you can break free. By the end of this, you won't just believe in divine energy, you'll know how to experience it directly and use it to transform your life. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because this is the kind of knowledge they don't want spreading. And trust me, by the time you finish watching this, you'll never see reality the same way again. Most people live under an illusion, unaware that their thoughts, beliefs, and emotions are not entirely their own. They have been shaped, some might even say programmed, by societal structures that thrive on obedience, conformity, and fear. From the moment you are born, you are taught who you are supposed to be rather than being encouraged to discover the vastness of what you truly are. Governments, religious institutions, and media conglomerates have spent centuries perfecting the art of control, ensuring that the masses never realize their own divine sovereignty. And why? Because a person who knows their true power cannot be controlled. Look around. How many people live in a constant state of fear? Fear of financial collapse, fear of disease, fear of punishment, fear of divine rejection. Fear is the most effective weapon of control because it hijacks the mind, keeping it in survival mode. And when the mind is in survival mode, it does not question, it obeys. The result? A world where individuals willingly give away their power, seeking validation, security, and salvation from external sources rather than looking within. But here is the truth that has been hidden from you. You were never meant to be a servant. You were born a creator. Religious conditioning is one of the most powerful forms of this enslavement. Many spiritual traditions originally served to connect individuals with the divine, but over time, institutionalized religion became a system of control. Instead of teaching people to commune directly with God, they were taught to fear Him, to see themselves as sinful, unworthy, and in need of an intermediary. But let's ask a radical question. If God is infinite, omnipresent, and within all things, then why would you need permission to connect with what is already inside you? The idea that divine access is restricted is one of the greatest lies ever told. This extends far beyond religion. The political and economic systems you live under function the same way. The media dictates what you should fear. The education system teaches what to think, not how to think. The financial system ensures that most people remain in a cycle of debt and dependency, always working, always struggling, never truly free. Do you see the pattern? The system does not exist to liberate you. It exists to keep you asleep. But waking up is not about rebellion, it's about remembering. Remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. So how does one break free? Awareness. Awareness is the antidote to programming. The moment you begin to question why you believe what you believe, the spell begins to break. Spiritual. Practices such as meditation, deep introspection and energy work can help dissolve the layers of conditioning. Spend time in silence. Listen to your own thoughts. Feel your own energy. Because here's the truth. Everything you seek is already within you. The divine was never outside of you. It has been waiting patiently for you to remember. For centuries, humanity has attempted to define God, yet every definition falls short. Why? Because God is not a concept, an entity, or a being that can be confined by language. The moment you try to describe the infinite using finite words, you distort its true nature. In mystical traditions, God is often described as the unknowable, the all, or simply existence itself. The ancient Hermeticists put it best: God is, that is all. No beginning, no end, just pure existence beyond space, time, and form. Many religious traditions have attempted to give God human-like characteristics. They describe a deity with emotions, desires, and judgments, as if the divine were a cosmic ruler sitting on a throne, dictating laws. But ask yourself, how can something infinite have limitations? The truth is, these descriptions are mere symbols, created to help human minds grasp something beyond comprehension. In reality, the divine is not a he or a she, nor does it operate within the constraints of human logic. It simply is eternal, boundless, and ever-present. A more accurate way to conceptualize God is through frequency and vibration. Think about it. Everything in existence is energy. Science confirms that matter is just condensed energy vibrating at specific frequencies. If all of creation is energy, then God, the source of all that is, must be the purest, highest vibration. This is why many mystics and spiritual teachers describe divine connection as an experience of light, sound, or pure awareness. They are not encountering a person, but rather tuning into a state of being so expansive that it dissolves all separation. Throughout history, enlightened beings, whether it be Buddha, Jesus, or Rumi, did not claim exclusive access to God. Instead, they pointed others toward an inner realization. God is not outside of you. It is the very essence of your existence. This is why deep meditation, breathwork, and other spiritual practices are so powerful. They shift your perception from the external world of forms to the internal space where the divine can be directly experienced. The deeper you go within, the closer you get to the truth. So, if God cannot be fully understood through words, then how do you know God? Not through belief, but through direct experience. Imagine trying to describe music to someone who has never heard a sound. It's impossible. They must listen for themselves. The same is true with the divine. It is not about intellectual understanding. It is about attunement. When you quiet the mind, raise your frequency, and enter a state of pure awareness, you will no longer seek God. You will remember that you were never separate from it in the first place. If God is beyond words, beyond concepts, beyond all human definitions, then how do we experience the divine? The answer is deceptively simple: through awareness, not through belief, not through rituals, not through intermediaries, just pure, direct awareness. When the mind becomes silent, when thoughts dissolve, and when you exist in a state of presence, you become attuned to the divine frequency. This is why meditation has been practiced by mystics, sages, and spiritual seekers for thousands of years. It is the gateway to experiencing God, rather than just thinking about God. Consider this right now as you read these words. There is a silence beneath your thoughts, a space between the words, a presence that is always there, but easily overlooked. That stillness, that is where the divine resides. But most people never access it because their minds are constantly filled with noise. They are lost in distractions, worries, and mental chatter, never realizing that the very thing they seek is already within them. The key is not to find God, but to remove the layers that obscure your awareness of it. Meditation is one of the most powerful ways to do this. When you close your eyes, slow your breath, and let go of thoughts, something profound happens. You begin to dissolve into pure existence. Some call this the void, others call it the all. It is a state of boundless awareness where there is no separation between you and the universe. This is what many spiritual traditions describe as enlightenment, not an achievement, but a recognition of what has always been. You are not a person having a spiritual experience, you are spirit having a temporary human experience. Think of a wave in the ocean. A wave may think it is separate, unique, distinct, but it is always the ocean. The moment it stops identifying as just a wave, it realizes it is part of something infinite. This is the awakening that comes through deep awareness. When you stop identifying solely with your thoughts, emotions, and physical body, you recognize that you are something far greater. You are the awareness behind it all. And in that realization, you experience the divine directly without the need for belief or dogma. So the question is, are you willing to let go of everything you think you know, even for a moment, to experience this truth for yourself? Because once you do, you will never see reality the same way again, and the journey has only just begun. If you truly want to understand the nature of reality, you must shift your perception from matter to energy. Everything you see, touch, and experience is not solid. It is energy vibrating at different frequencies. This isn't just spiritual philosophy. This is the foundation of quantum physics. And if everything in existence is made of vibrating energy, then what is the source of all things? God is not a figure in the sky. God is the highest, purest frequency that permeates all existence. Nikola Tesla once said, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." The ancients understood this long before modern science. In Hinduism, the sound Om is said to be the primordial vibration of creation. In Christianity, "In the beginning was the Word" refers to the idea that sound, vibration, brought reality into existence. Every mystical tradition points to the same truth. God is not an object to worship, but a frequency to attune to. Your own consciousness operates at different frequencies depending on your emotional and mental state. Low frequencies, such as fear, anger, and despair, disconnect you from divine energy, creating a sense of isolation and suffering. High frequencies, such as love, gratitude, and joy, align you with the universal creative force. This is why people who experience deep love or bliss often describe feeling one with everything. They have temporarily tuned in to a higher state of consciousness. The great secret is this: you can change your frequency at will. Through meditation, sound, healing, breathwork, and conscious thought, you can elevate your vibration and experience higher states of awareness. This is why spiritual masters radiate peace, wisdom, and presence. They have learned to sustain a higher frequency. They do not just talk about God, they embody that divine vibration in every moment. So the question is not whether God exists, but whether you are aligned with the divine frequency. Are you living in fear and separation, or in love and unity? Because the frequency you hold determines the reality you experience. And the moment you choose to raise your vibration, your entire world begins to shift. The universe is not something separate from you. It is something you are actively shaping at all times. Every thought, emotion, and belief you hold generates a frequency that influences your reality. This is not mystical speculation. It is an observable law of consciousness. Ancient spiritual teachings, quantum mechanics, and modern psychology all point to the same truth. Your mind is not just a receiver of experiences, but a creator of them. Whether you realize it or not, You are manifesting in every moment. The question is, are you doing it consciously or unconsciously? Neville Goddard taught that imagination is God, meaning that the same creative force that brought the universe into existence is expressing itself through you. Everything you see around you, every building, invention, or work of art, began as a thought in someone's mind. The same principle applies to your life. Whatever dominates your mental and emotional state will shape the world you experience. If your focus is constantly on fear, scarcity, and limitation, your reality will mirror those conditions. If instead, you shift your awareness toward abundance, love, and possibility, your external world will begin to reflect that shift. Most people do not realize they are caught in a cycle of unconscious manifestation, replaying the same limiting beliefs over and over. To break free, one must learn to direct the power of thought with intention and clarity. Manifestation is not simply about thinking positively. It is about aligning thought, emotion, and action in a way that is energetically coherent. Thoughts alone are weak unless they are infused with deep feeling. This is why strong emotions, whether positive or negative, accelerate manifestation. A fearful thought backed by intense anxiety has a much stronger impact than a casual passing worry. Likewise, a vision of success charged with absolute certainty will generate results far more quickly than a vague hope. The subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. It simply responds to the strongest emotional signals it receives. When you hold a thought with unwavering conviction, your subconscious begins working to materialize it. However, belief and emotion alone are not enough. Action must be in alignment with intention. Many people say they desire abundance, but continue to act from a place of scarcity, hesitating, doubting, or sabotaging opportunities. The universe does not respond to words, it responds to vibration. If your actions contradict your desired reality, you create energetic resistance. True manifestation occurs when thoughts, emotions, and actions are synchronized. This is why spiritual masters radiate an undeniable presence. Their inner world and outer world are in perfect harmony. They do not wish for transformation, they embody it. Your current reality is a reflection of the energy you have been putting out, whether consciously or unconsciously. If you want to change your life, you must change the dominant frequency you operate on. This is why tools like meditation, visualization, and affirmations are so powerful. They train the mind to focus on what is wanted rather than what is feared. The divine does not grant favors based on luck or external effort. It simply mirrors back what you are vibrating. Once you fully grasp this truth, manifestation stops being something mystical and becomes something inevitable. At that point, you are no longer just a passive participant in the universe. You are a deliberate creator of your reality. Most people believe that prayers, rituals, or spoken words alone can invoke divine intervention. But the universe does not respond to language. It responds to vibration. Everything in existence operates at a specific frequency, including human consciousness. This is why two people can say the same prayer, but one experiences transformation while the other feels nothing. It is not the words that matter, it is the state of being behind them. The divine or universal intelligence is not external. It is an energetic field that interacts with you based on the frequency you emit. Dr. David R. Hawkins, in his work on the scale of consciousness, measured the vibrational levels of different emotional states. Low-frequency emotions such as fear, shame, guilt, and anger create resistance and attract negative experiences. They contract your energy field, keeping you disconnected from higher awareness. High-frequency states such as love, joy, gratitude, and peace expand your consciousness, aligning you with the universal creative force. This explains why people who radiate love seem to attract more positive experiences, while those who dwell in fear encounter endless obstacles. Your vibrational state is like a radio signal. What you tune into is what you receive. Religion has often misinterpreted this concept, portraying divine favor as something granted or withheld based on behavior. But true spiritual law operates on frequency, not morality. A person in a state of deep gratitude and joy will experience more divine flow, regardless of their religious affiliation. Meanwhile, someone trapped in guilt and self-judgment, even if they are devout, will feel disconnected. This is why some people who do not follow any religious path still seem deeply connected to life, abundance, and synchronicity. They have naturally aligned themselves with higher vibrational states. The divine does not judge, it simply responds. Shifting. Your frequency is the key to transforming your reality. You cannot beg for enlightenment while vibrating at fear. You cannot manifest abundance while embodying scarcity. The shift must happen internally first. Practices like meditation, breathwork, and sound healing are powerful because they help recalibrate your energy field. Gratitude, love, and compassion are not just nice emotions. They are frequencies that align you with the intelligence of the universe. This is why deep mystical experiences often occur in moments of surrender. When the ego dissolves and the heart opens, the divine presence becomes unmistakable. Understanding this truth removes the illusion of separation. You are not waiting for God to answer you. You are tuning yourself to God's frequency. And the moment you do, everything begins to shift. Not because a deity decided to grant you favor, but because you finally became a match for the reality you were seeking all along. One of the greatest deceptions in human history is the illusion of separation. The belief that we are disconnected from God, from each other, and from the fabric of the universe itself. This illusion has been deliberately reinforced by societal structures that thrive on control. Governments, religious institutions, and media systems have mastered the art of keeping people in a state of fear, division, and dependence. Because the moment you realize your own divine sovereignty, you become uncontrollable. From an early age, you are conditioned to believe that authority lies outside of you. Religion tells you that you need intermediaries to access God. Society tells you that success comes from external validation. The media feeds you narratives of fear, ensuring that you never feel safe, powerful, or whole. This constant barrage of programming keeps people in a low vibrational state, easily manipulated and distracted. If you are always searching for salvation outside yourself, you will never recognize that everything you seek is already within you. The ruling elite understands this principle well. They maintain control not through force alone, but through perception. The more disconnected you feel from your own power, the easier it is to keep you locked in cycles of consumption, distraction, and limitation. This is why fear-based narratives dominate the news, why materialism is glorified over spiritual development, why history is rewritten to suppress ancient wisdom. The system is designed to keep you too busy, too afraid, and too dependent to ever question its foundation. But here's the truth: there is no separation. You are not a fragment, isolated in a vast, meaningless universe. You are an extension of the divine, an individualized expression of the same consciousness that permeates all existence. When mystics speak of enlightenment, they are not talking about learning something new. They are talking about remembering what has always been. The moment you realize that God is not external, but the very essence of your being, the illusion shatters. The chains of control begin to dissolve. You no longer need permission to access higher states of consciousness. You simply step into them. The greatest revolution is not political. It is not economic. It is spiritual. The moment enough people awaken to their true nature, the systems built on fear and division, will collapse. The world does not change when external authorities give you more freedom. The world changes when you reclaim the freedom that was never truly lost. And once you do, reality will never look the same again. If there's one thing you take away from this, let it be this. You are not separate from God. You never were. The idea that divine power is distant, inaccessible, or reserved for a chosen few is the greatest illusion ever imposed on humanity. The truth is, the divine is not something you pray to, it's something you tune into, and the frequency you choose to align with determines the reality you experience. So now ask yourself, what frequency have you been living in? Have you been operating from fear, scarcity, and external control? Or are you ready to reclaim your power, elevate your consciousness, and step into the awareness that you are already connected to the source of creation itself? The choice has always been yours. But here's the catch. Most people will hear this truth and do nothing. They will continue living in the same patterns, trapped in the same illusions. Will you? Or will you take action and begin shifting your frequency today? Start simple. Become aware of what you consume, mentally, emotionally, energetically. Meditate. Question the beliefs you've been programmed to accept. Seek knowledge that expands your consciousness. The more you elevate your vibration, the more you will see reality for what it truly is. Not a prison, but a limitless field of potential. And once you break free from the illusion, you will never go back. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever felt a moment of deep connection where you sensed something greater than yourself? Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. And before you go, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because this is just the beginning. If you want to keep unlocking the hidden truths of reality, you won't want to miss what's coming next.